All right. I think I should be solid now. Um, Let me see what's happening. Am I hearing myself back? Can I hear? What's happening? Yeah, I'm hearing myself back. Beautiful. Right. So I am hearing the audio on stream. Beautiful. So for those who are not aware, right? Um, Small little stream, small little lightation, right? Just gonna be reacting to a couple videos and things, share a little bit of the grandfather wisdom beside me. So this video here though, I wake up this morning and I say boom, right? I say boom. Man, let me make some content. Keep in mind I never did this Twitch thing before. Set up the account, but never went on Twitch. I spent a good like half an hour to half an hour. Half an hour to an hour. Half an hour to an hour just trying to understand the whole dynamic. This thing is frustrating, but like, oh my god, there's so much technicalities to the streaming thing. It's kind of crazy. But I wake up with this one word on my mind, right? Humility. I say, yeah, and guess what happened? I got my phone now. As soon as I go on there, boom, 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 Bible verse, ting. For those of you who just get like your Bible and so they send daily verses and so da. Matthew 18. I was like, rah. Go on YouTube. First thing that come to mind, humility of a child. I say, rah. So I come across this video and I say, you know what, since I like talk, right? Let me watch a video on the same thing, right? And we gonna just share thoughts and thoughts back to back, right? Let me open up this thing now. Anyway, I should be able to just play it and then go through. TED Talks, by the way. Oh, for those of you who don't know, when I do this streaming thing, like when I start up the streaming thing, I might just start to like put it on YouTube. So just look out for YouTube, whatever the case may be. If y'all clip, I know how Twitches work with clipping and all kind of thing. I'm new to this thing, so y'all gonna, as the followers grow, whatever the case may be, we gonna tend to work that out. But this is gonna also go on YouTube, so I'm gonna have a YouTube channel that I find some way to connect it to the Twitch or something like that, and then connect it, and then y'all get to see like the previous streams on YouTube, maybe even different content. YouTube might just be like more direct vloggings and videos and that kind of stuff, or like podcast content and all that kind of stuff, right? Where I bring people, but depending on the environment, and so then I don't know if I'm gonna stream or I'm gonna know if I'm gonna bring the YouTube video, or y'all just get vlogs, but in between, and then maybe just get like a TikTok to show clips or something like that. Maybe important stuff in the podcast in case y'all don't get time. Sometimes these podcasts will get really long because streaming is. I know y'all ain't able to sit down and watch them things because y'all got things to do. Y'all got work. Y'all are very hardworking people, and y'all got to make y'all bread. You don't know the thing, right? The video. TED Talks, by the way, there's actually get a lot of good content if you actually want to like learn the insights of the mind or so. Beautiful. But you gotta
raise your hand if you lie. Now, right now, if your hand is down, you're probably a bigger liar than the person nearest to you with their hand up. But it's okay. We all lie. Don't worry. I lie all the time. Ask my mom. But the problem,
I'm pretty sure
is that little things turn into big things.
At least
because how we do anything is how we do everything. So if you lie now, it's going to make lying later way easier. But if you tell the truth now, the truth comes way easier later. But it's difficult because today we're flooded with definitions like honesty and hypocrisy and humility. And maybe we don't even know what they actually mean. Because if you Google them on the surface, the definitions are easy. But when you put them into practice, they don't work. Humility is unique because when you have humility, people don't notice. That's the most important thing about humility, is nobody notices but you. 9 times out of 10, if you ask someone if they have humility, the answer will be yes, simply because they think that they're being honest.
Crazy, right? Keep note what he said, right? 9 times out of 10, the people that you would ask if they have humility, they'd say yes because they think they're being honest. But humility, take my time. Humility is very much different from just being honest, right? You could be honest and not be humble. You could be humble and not be honest. You understand, right?
But it's not honesty, it's not meekness, it's not belittling yourself. Humility is not thinking less of yourself.
Humility is not thinking less of yourself. Humility is thinking of yourself less. Hey. Y'all hear that? Humility is not thinking less of yourself. So sometimes we tend to be in situations, and because um you may be intimidated by somebody, because let's say, bam, I see a celebrity, or bam, I see the president, or bam, I see somebody of like high status, right? And then you go and approach, and then, or just being in their presence, you start to realize, damn, like, nah, let me just relax myself, because, I don't deserve to be there, because I ain't above that status, I ain't around that status, right? You start to think of them as extremely superior, right? So you what? Degrade yourself and what? Your self-esteem, right? But that is not humility. So to you, because you're being intimidated, your acceptance of that situation, your acceptance of that situation is, yeah, I'm just humbling myself. Yeah. But in truth, you're just intimidated and you're fearful, right? Maybe even scared, if you want to say the truth. But humility is thinking of yourself less, right? Humility is thinking of yourself, thinking of yourself less. So essentially, when you go and do something, you don't always approach it with the aspect of you, but you approach it with, okay, I'm here, but what about this person? Let me see, what's this person doing? How is this person viewing this, right? Whether the person be above you in status or below you in status. Damn, I'm sweating like crazy. We got my skin glistening, right? But whether that person be above you or below you, right? What happens is that your humility allows you to be able to take any situation like that, right? And be able to shape you in such a way where you're always open to what? Receiving what? The message, right? Receiving what? What is said. Receiving what? The lesson, right? And sometimes if you are scared or intimidated, it's not very easy to accept that. And if it's not very easy to accept, you will not have clarity, right? This is very powerful. Humility is not thinking less of yourself, but humility is not thinking less of yourself, so not belittling or degrading your self-esteem, but humility is thinking of yourself less, meaning that you don't always hold pride towards you all the time, right? You kind of put yourself on the back burner, the back seat, and say, all right, let me see what is in front of me, and let me see how I can actually understand what's in front of me, right? That goes very deep. Talking too
Humility
much,
is
so
thinking
let
of
me do.
yourself
No, it's just
less,
5 minutes, right?
right? So when it's funny, someone was asking me, and I was trying to tell them about humility. And the most important thing is when you work in your groups, your teams, your leadership, wherever you are, your ministry of your church, nobody notices. But it doesn't work unless you have integrity. Integrity is when you align your actions with your beliefs. The Latin adjective integer means whole or one. Think of it like the Latin integrity is when nobody notices, but it doesn't work unless you have integrity.
Listen.
Integrity is when you align your actions with your beliefs.
Boom. Right? So we tend to have something that we all want, right? Whether it be you want a supercar, super fast, luxurious car. You want a mansion of a house, right? You want to establish 17 businesses, right? You want to find a woman in your dreams, right? You want to make your parents proud, right? You want to make sure you're financially stable so that you could be able to set up a living environment for yourself, right? But what sometimes we don't have, right? We don't have the actions in alignment to our beliefs. Now, I'm not trying to say that in such aspects that, yes, you have a belief, right? Or what I like to use as the word to describe belief is you have a vision, right? A vision allows you to see what's ahead, right? So you can have a vision, but at times your actions do not coordinate with that vision. Why? Because there's so many other things, right, that are in the way, and it stems back into humility, right? So sometimes if you are not humble, you will not be able to see the opportunities that are put in front of you so that you could take what? Responsive action rather than reactive action, right? Because if you are, sometimes there are things, right, that are in, I can't even repeat what I just said. That was so powerful, right? But sometimes there are things, right, that will prevent you from being able to initiate the correct or the right actions you need to be able to ferment your beliefs. We all have beliefs, we all have a dream, we all have something we look for and we hope to achieve, right? But there are things in the way that will be stopping us and that are stopping us from achieving that. And it starts with also yourself, right? We realize that our biggest, I always say to the people I speak to, right? Your biggest competitor is yourself, right? And until you learn to deal with yourself, right? Until you really learn to understand who you are, then you can understand where you are to go and what you are supposed to do. Somebody tell me I'm preaching, man. Hiya.
The Latin adjective
First
integer
reading, I
means
give you
whole
so much
or
gems.
one. Think of it like that. That's where the word integrity comes from.
About?
I like to think of it as a pizza. So if you cut the pizza, you separate the pieces out, but it leaves a missing part in the center. When you don't have a center, you don't have a point of reference. You lose your integrity. And it leaves you asking, you don't have a center, but it leaves a missing part in the center. You separate the pieces out, but it leaves a missing part in the center. When you don't have a center, you don't have a point of reference. You lose your integrity. And it leaves you asking a question like, why do I feel this way? What am I missing? And oftentimes we try to use beauty, fame, money, success, and popularity to bring the pieces back together, but it just doesn't work. It leaves you confused and wondering, why do I not feel important? But the thing about integrity is that it leads to hypocrisy. If you don't align your actions with your beliefs, you kind of become a hypocrite. Acting has always been a passion of mine, like the theater, the lights, the sound. And in high school, I was studying for a vocab test, and the word was hypocrite. And the Greek root suggests something along the lines of an image of a person who wears a mask and pretends to be someone he or she is not in a theatrical production. And when I think about that, I think we all have masks and theatrical production.
Let me just break that down for, those that may also see it a bit technical. I find there's a lot of display words inside of this, right? But to kind of capture the idea of what he just said, essentially, he's just saying, you speak, but you pretend. You hear that? You speak, but you what? Pretend, right? Or you speak, but your word holds no value to the point where it is not related to action. What do I mean by that? So you'd say, listen, my plan is I'm going to build a house by the end this year. I'm going to go to the gym. Oh, I'm going to go to the gym by next month. When next month come, I start my exercise. I get in lean. I get in big. You understand? I get in buff. I cutting down on the weight, right? I can manage my diet. But then when the time come now, right? The time come, right? It's July the 7th, right? That's the beginning of the week. It's a Monday morning, right? Early and bright, sun shining, right? You ain't get no problems. You ain't get no debt, nothing. All you got to do is just start the day and make sure you started with what you said you were going to do. Do some exercise in the morning, right? But you tell yourself, man, I can't put myself to do it. I can start the next time. I can delay it. Next time, next year, next month, next decade. Right? So what that is saying is that you can even be you can even be a hypocrite to yourself. Because what you say or what comes out of your mouth is a manifestation of the things that you also push yourself to do. So if you say you're going to do something and then don't hold to it, you're also lying to yourself. Remember he said before, everybody lied, and I told y'all, each and every one of y'all lied. Of course, y'all lie to yourself every day. Right? Y'all lie to yourself every day. Look at it, sit down and think about it. Y'all lie to yourself every day.
And when I think about that, I think we all have masks.
I do the same
and
thing.
Maybe we don't even know what they are, like our social media.
Let me just clarify that. We all do the same thing. Even me, myself, I may be the one that's talking, but even I do the same thing. I have my experiences. But I become more aware. I become more aware, so I can start what? Aligning my actions with what I want to see happen. Wait, somebody say hallelujah.
Yeah, or our internet, or the things we post. But the theatrical production is just our lives. Do you post things about what your life is like? Or do you post things about what you want people to think that your life is like? Do your tweets start with I? Post things about what you want people to think that your life is like? Things about what your life is like? Or do you post things about what you want people to think that your life is like? Do your tweets start with I? Or do your tweets start with we did this? It's all something to consider. It's kind of like the movies, Iron Man, Batman. They all start out with a mask in the beginning of the movie, but by the end of the movie, we figure out who they are. We always, the person is revealed, and it's because they're missing the humility side of the equation. I think for humility and integrity, one thing I like to do at this, I feel like I'm 12 up here, but one thing I like to do is look up. I look up to people. I find mentors and people I can study off of, teachers and people who have built.
No, like literally, if you look at him, he actually look really young. If I'm being realistic, though, I would say he look like he's about 16, just that sweet 16. He ain't really get the puberty yet, the breakout yet, skin still smooth. Young days, young Mr. Charmer walking through high school and thing. And I was saying, bop, walking through ladies. Oh my God, ting, going on, and he's just like, and he walk and he give it a look, and he's like, yeah. Anyhow.
Season. One of the things I do is a person I look up to is named Ellie, and when I think about Ellie, she 100% has no prejudice against color, race, religion. She can face the world without lies. She can take blame without resentment. She can even start the day without caffeine. But it's interesting because as soon as I think I'm just like Ellie, I remember that Ellie is just my family dog.
Yeah, stop it.
So as soon as you think you have humility and integrity and you're not a hypocrite, you're just as good as your dog that sleeps on the floor. And so all this to say, I'm not bashing my dog. I love my dog. We all love our dogs. But the thing is that there's no levels to humility and integrity. You kind of have it and you practice it, or you have it and you don't practice it. There's no in between. No one's better. If you're great at it, you're just as good as your dog. And so my idea today is to encourage us to align our actions with our beliefs.
Yes, sir.
Think of ourselves a little bit less, others a little bit more. And we'll know exactly who we are, and we'll know exactly what we want.
Sometimes we hurt ourselves to the point of Yes, sir. That was a short video, 5 minutes. I actually thought it was longer, right? But y'all get the whole idea behind the concept, right? So, it's starting over. Oops. Hold on, I put this thing on. So, boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. We're going to just expand this on the big screen so y'all can see what really happening, right? Let me shift it there too. Y'all seen too much on my bed. I know it's a little nasty, but don't say nothing. Don't watch no scene. Alright? So, back to, hold on. Like on this online thing, let's see what I can check and see what happened with Twitch. Alright, it's still streaming. Good. But anyhow, short little video, right? Y'all see the importance of, just to summarize everything, y'all see the importance of not just understanding what it really and truly means to be humble, right? But also matching that humility with honesty. They go hand in hand. They're not separate from one another. The honesty is that integrity. So integrity is really just broken down to honesty, which is being true to yourself. So if you say you're going to do something, make sure that when you say you're going to do it, you actually commit to doing it. It's very hard to do so because there's so many things that distract us, right? There's so many things that distract us, right? But stay true to yourself. You see, sometimes I was even talking to somebody recently, right? Sometimes we tend to think that being by ourselves is a bad thing. Nothing is wrong with being by yourselves, right? Sometimes you can have the best time being by yourselves. Why? Because that's where you spend time to actually build a relationship with yourself. Yeah, I'll heed these words, right? That's where you spend time to build a relationship with yourself. And when you're able to build a relationship with yourself, you start to see how the things around you start to elevate, right? Because now You're understanding what? Your heritage, right? Let me not even go down that path because that's a whole different topic by hand, which means a whole different video on its own, which means more content to come. So if you like, right? If you like what you're seeing, I got promotes. It's a YouTube thing, it's a Twitch thing, the regular thing where they say if you like what you see, subscribe, leave a touch the like button, drop a comment in the drop something in the comment section and all them type of thing, right? Follow up, go on the socials and thing and check the motion. Same way still, going back to the topic at hand, right? Being able to match your level of honesty with the things that you see for yourself, but also understanding that in order for you to really progress too, you need to be humble. And humble is not just belittling yourself, but thinking of yourself less and being able to think of others. Because then when you think of others, right, others start to think of what? You. I can leave y'all with that gem. Y'all tap in, tap in, tap in because proper content and quality is coming, right? Like never seen before. You understand? I'm not talking again. Don't know.